This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Oh my God!
Welcome, everybody, to the DocNJock Wrestling Podcast. This is episode 74 of these bad babblearies. Got a lot to talk about today. There's possibly a Four Horsemen reboot. AJ Styles signs a new deal.
Yes.
We've got a WWE, I don't know if I want to call him a stalwart. We'll call him a superstar because that's what WWE calls him. His possible return and ties in with WrestleMania, or at least it's around WrestleMania. So we'll get you some info on that. Also, we're going to do a SmackDown review as well as a Raw review. And when I say we, I mean he is the guy who is sitting across from me right now. He is the one. He's the only. He is the Doc, John Macaroon. What's up, cuz?
Oh, music say! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for your world famous two-time champs and feel the power!
It's a new day. Yes, it is. Yeah, brother.
That feels good, doesn't it? Does feel good. Feel better if Kofi had a different result. We'll talk about that when we get to our SmackDown
The
review.
New Day's getting a push. Could the New Day have a world champion in their midst in that group? Man.
How cool would it be if New Day... So if this is what a lot of times what you see in ROH and what you see in New Japan. A lot of times you'll have groups or you'll have cliques and they hold all the belts. For like the longest time, Bullet Club had every single belt in New Japan. For a little bit now, and actually this might be going in this direction at New Japan's G1 Supercard and at ROH's event coming up, where Marty Scurll, who was part of Bullet Club, he's one of my favorite wrestlers. You got to meet him in person when you went to, I think it was War of the Worlds, that was here in Detroit. He has a clique right now, and he's challenging Jay Lethal for the ROH Championship, and they hold the 6-man tag belts as well as the tag belts themselves. So this is like a clique who now has, and I believe Marty Scurll will beat Jay Lethal and get the ROH Championship. So would you like something like that where you've got
Kofi the world champ and the New Day the tag champ? Sure, why not?
And then would you still do Freebird rules where Kofi could tag in and pair up?
No Freebird.
No
Freebird rules. So, I like E. I think E could be a guy that could also be a breakout star. It's interesting in that all three of those guys.
It was rumored for him.
Yeah.
Months ago.
Exactly.
He was supposed to be the guy to get the push.
But Kofi's the guy.
Yeah.
And really interesting, too, the way that it shaped out, too, and that, Kofi was a fill-in. Sometimes when that luck happens, you got to take advantage of it.
You got to strike when the iron's hot. And we're going to talk about all of that when we break down SmackDown. Let's get into Raw. So the big news coming out of Raw is Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle naming his challenger at WrestleMania.
Now I want to set the scene with this because, remember, because obviously he came back after a long stint in TNA. He had his substance abuse problems. He spent a long time away from WWE. But he also had a storied history in WWE, had great matches with Brock Lesnar, John Cena, The Undertaker. There were feuds. There were great memories. The Milk, yes, it's true. He was arguably one of the top 4 stars in that company for well over 5 years.
Some of his best matches were in WWE.
So Kurt Angle also...
real quick, just to run down his lineage and his history. He's a WWE champion, right? He is a NWA, he's a New Japan. He's an IWGP champion. He is a TNA champion. The only place I don't think he's ever wrestled is ROH, and he's never won a belt there. It's because he's never wrestled there. But he's had world titles every place he has gone. He is a storied competitor and wrestler.
He brought more legitimacy to WWE because he was an Olympic wrestler who won a gold medal with a freaking broken neck.
Yep.
And he rode that into success. And a great story there is that it makes you feel old because I remember back in the day when Kurt Angle debuted, when Brock Lesnar would come out in dark matches. And And I'm like, oh my God. I remember I have tickets from the Royal Rumble when it was in Detroit, from the Survivor Series. So I've been to a lot of events, World War III from WCW 97. So I've been enjoying going back and reliving events that I went to. But I'm like, oh my God, in the 90s, I was 18, 19, just starting to buy tickets, going to these events. Kurt Angle was a dark match. I was at Kurt Angle's, I believe, first match professionally, if it was at the Survivor Series. I believe that was his first professional pay-per-view match, or first match was at the Survivor Series. So now, fast forward, he comes back. He has this run as general manager. It's a little underwhelming. And now he comes back, and everybody's anticipating because, the dirt sheets and us, we're talking about, oh, could it be John Cena, The Undertaker, a big name, maybe Shawn Michaels? I mean, somebody interesting.
Let's just set that scene, okay? So John Cena. John Cena's very first match on WWE television,
Smackdown,
was Kurt Angle, right? That was Ruthless Aggression. That was the match that kicked off the Ruthless Aggression era, all right? You have Drew McIntyre, who is becoming an absolute savage on Raw, right? Drew McIntyre, Kurt Angle and TNA, his going home, his farewell match was against Drew McIntyre, and it was phenomenal. His thing was, I want to put over the one guy who can help carry the torch for TNA, and it was Drew McIntyre. They couldn't come to a contract with Drew McIntyre. That's why he's out. WWE offered him more money, and he had to do what's best for him, so he went back to WWE. He's had matches against other guys who are big names in WWE. I mean, you could see Samoa Joe. You could see AJ Styles. These are all guys that he has wrestled before. I mean, that's just two guys right off the top, not even trying hard. If you really wanted to do a callback, I think I might have been okay with Shelton Benjamin. And if you followed Kurt Angle's Twitter, he accepted a match against Shelton Benjamin. And that's just because who did Shelton Benjamin come in with? It was Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, and Kurt Angle, right? That's what it was. So you could have the pupil taking on the master, because that's what that relationship was. There are other storylines that are a little bit more deep-seated and more interesting that you could go with instead of the WWE general manager run that was absolutely abysmal.
And then he takes the ring. Everyone's excited. The crowd's hot. Everyone's looking, what's going to happen on a show that people were excited about. And all of a sudden, he takes the mic, he talks about it, and he announces who he's going to face. And it was a damper on the show. Once he said it, it just kind of ruined the whole flow of the show. It ruined the vibe. It just sent the internet ablaze with people frustrated. Baron Corbin is not the name worthy of fighting Kurt Angle, hands down, period. It's an absolute disgrace that it got past the written paper. Once someone writes Baron Corbin, Vince should have looked at that shit and said, get the fuck out of here. Next, someone else worthy of Kurt Angle. But again, now, when you looked at his match on Raw, it was abysmal. He was blown up. It was bad. Chad Gable worked his ass off to make it even a mediocre match. It wasn't that good. It was bad.
It wasn't very good.
The farewell tour is a little bit embarrassing. I don't like to see that from Kurt Angle. After his first couple matches with the Shield last year when he came back and started to get back in the ring, it should have been just like, he should have had his farewell match maybe at the SummerSlam pay-per-view or something else, not WrestleMania.
See, I thought the match with Chad Gable, I was really intrigued for this. And you're right.
Me too.
After, it was already kind of a lackluster Raw up until this point, and then you drop this bomb, and it's a total stink grenade, and it kind of killed the momentum of what you kind of had going on, and it wasn't very good momentum, but you killed it. I was looking forward, and I hung around because I wanted to see the Chad Gable Kurt Angle match, because you go back. Do you remember the storyline of Kurt Angle and his black son?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Some guy named what? Jason?
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
It didn't happen.
I think
never no payoff.
Right, no payoff whatsoever. I think we all agree, right? By the way, Jason Jordan is working backstage. He's like
can't wrestle.
Yeah. It deals with his neck. It was way more serious than what it should have been. Anyways, I think we both agree we wanted Chad Gable to be the son. Like it made more sense, right?
It looked better.
Exactly. But honestly, because Jason Jordan is like a foot and a half taller than Kurt Angle.
Right.
Chad Gable's a smaller guy.
Yeah.
He's he's overly muscular. That's pretty much what Kurt Angle was in his prime.
All in all, storyline sons are stupid.
They are stupid. But what I'm saying is you had the go-to, and you were like, oh, let's go hard left. Anyways, all that being said, I wanted to see this match. I thought this was going to be a great match. It was a very difficult match to watch.
Oh, it's tough.
Kurt Angle is past his prime.
You have to have cardio. You can't be 50 wrestling.
And you see it. Yeah. He's not in the best physical shape.
Not for TV.
No. I don't know how he's going to I don't know how he's going to get himself to where he needs to be for WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is around the corner.
Yeah, and WWE has a style now for the better part of a decade that we all know. Fast-paced. That's why the Gauntlet match kind of reminded me. I'm like, oh, there's going to be some arm bars. There's going to be some headlocks to slow it down to give Kofi a rest. And that's the secret, because WWE has a formula, and Vince likes go, 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 chop, chop. It's not like he doesn't want you doing arm bars for 5 minutes to bore the crowd. It's go, 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 attack, 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 couple intermediate spots to help the guys not
arm
blow
bar,
up.
chokehold, only in commercial breaks. We're coming back.
Exactly. Let's go. Chops, and then in the ropes, your acrobatics, your high spots, and things like that. So it's go, go, go. And Kurt Angle can't keep up with the likes of a Chad Gable. It's good to have the match, but it shouldn't have been on TV. It's unfortunate, because that's not how this is not how I'm going to remember Kurt Angle. But all in all, when the names are written, Baron Corbin should have been 18th on the list, and only if, okay, John Cena can't do it, Undertaker denies, this and that. Dude, I would have put him in versus Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Anybody else?
What do you think about this?
Why Baron Corbin? I know it pays off the storyline, but nobody wants to see it.
You're right.
Nobody wants to see it. It's a filler piss match.
But how about this? What if this happens? So Baron Corbin is the name that's dropped. You're worked up in a tizzy right now. You are so pissed off about this. Everybody else in the WWE universe is pissed off about this. What if, all right, not this week, maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks from now, something happens to Baron Corbin, or they somehow write him off.
Right off Kurt Angle.
Well, something happens where Kurt Angle still's going to have his match, but it's not now against Baron Corbin. It's against somebody that we've already named, somebody else that you want to see.
Bigger.
It seems like, to me, what it kind of feels like here is Baron Corbin is the name. He's the shock name, right? So it's going to be Baron Corbin. And the fans get all pissed off, and they're ready to burn down the WWE universe. Now WWE comes back, and it's the original guy that they originally wanted it to be. And maybe it's not a huge name. Maybe it's a mid-card guy. Maybe it's somebody else, but it's not Baron Corbin.
Talking like a fan, bro. No, it ain't going to happen.
I'm just talking to you about it. What do you think?
WrestleMania, you might talk about it in the coming weeks' news and notes. They're talking about it being the longest wrestling card of all time. 18 matches.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
So some matches have to be 5 minutes, and I think that, unfortunately, Kurt Angle's going to get the victory. He's going to go over on Baron Corbin, but it's going to be a 5-minute match where I just think that, there's going to be 6 matches where, for me, it might be the women.
Is that the way to do it, though?
There's going to be really 6 matches where you just got to kind of like not pay attention, check your phone, go get something to eat, because bro, it's going to start at 5 o'clock. It's going to go to midnight. It's going to be WrestleMania, and unfortunately, you can't get up.
It's going to be wrestling too goddamn long.
You can't get up for all those matches. So for me, and probably, hate to say it, it's probably be the last match on the pre-show. It can't make the main card. That match can't make the main card. It won't.
It has to.
No. There's 2 hours on the pre-show.
Angle. It's a Hall of Famer.
You think so?
Yeah, he is the.
It's not worthy. He's not worthy.
So this is what happens with WrestleMania, right? It builds. There's ebbs and flows in the show. Builds. Then they take you down. Builds. Then they take you down. And then it builds, and then they take you down. And sometimes the issue is they take you down, and the match that's going to take you down will be this match. It'll be a clunker.
Yeah,
it's not going to be very good. We have no expectations for it. It'll be a total dive match.
Do you think the fans will honor Kurt Angle?
Getting back up.
Do you think the fans will just make it, because they're going to be passionate? All the fans are going to be in New Jersey are going to be rabid fans. They'll just give him the respect that they gave when he comes down, just to cheer him on.
Exactly.
Look, because the fans at Raw gave him this is awesome for the first lockup. That was the best moment of the match.
It was awesome.
Right.
It was pretty awesome. This is the match that we all wanted to see for a while now.
We wanted to see it.
We wanted him to be the disgraced bastard son, and he wasn't. We got Jason Jordan.
It's going to be Baron Corbin. They have to pay it off because, like I said, this is all pre-written.
Okay, well, listen. If don't break kayfabe. Who are you, Ronda Rousey? Check yourself. What if? I don't even know where I'm going with this.
You know what? Be honestly,
so wait. Is it right? Is it right for Kurt Angle to win this match if it is against Baron Corbin?
Yeah.
Shouldn't he do the job for Baron Corbin?
No.
Why?
Because
this is what I never liked, right? So it's like a loser leave town match, or in that case, the loser has to leave town, so that guy's on the way. But the thing is, you have to do the job.
No, yeah, but here's how they do it. Kurt Angle goes 5 minutes hard, blows up. Baron Corbin acts and feigns like he's going to give him respect, puts his hand up, then clotheslines him, gets the heat after the match. Because Baron Corbin's a heel. So that's what you do is you have him lose and then destroy Kurt Angle after.
Why should he lose? Kurt Angle is
Baron
leaving.
Corbin sucks.
I get it. He's a character that you're not invested in.
Right.
I understand. I wouldn't say he sucks. He's just the guy you're not invested in. He is probably the most hot heel that they have.
Yeah, but his character...
Maybe,
see, if you look at Baron Corbin, his character...
McIntyre might be the most hot heel.
When he went to general manager status, it took all the heat away from his character.
I know.
It could be a better character. He's a agile, great talker, great heel. he could be along the lines of a Miz-type heel on Raw, but he hasn't gotten there just yet.
Well,
and that's why you use Mania to do it.
Look at Vince.
Yeah,
that's my point. Why would you have him lose?
Yeah,
Can't you catapult him more by having him beat Kurt Angle? That's something he can add to his resume and be like, look, I beat an Olympic champion.
See, either way, it's an afterthought. Either way, win or lose. That's why it sucks.
It's just, it's not a good match. Okay, so I had mentioned the most white-hot heel that they have right now. That's Drew McIntyre, I think.
Yep.
Is Drew McIntyre the heel that we wanted? Is he the heel that we needed? And is he the heel that we deserve?
Dude, we talked about it. This guy's got the look. He's got the great entrance that draws your attention. He's got the great accent, and he can do stuff in the ring.
It's an awesome promo.
The way they used him to start Raw, to have him come out and interrupt, in terms of being fodder for Seth Rollins, he comes out after Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar are doing their promo and things like that. And, in terms of Drew McIntyre, of course, I think he's got the total package, and then you book him at the end solidly to get the win. He's poised probably for a huge remainder of 2019. He's going to have great feuds with Seth Rollins. He can have great feuds with the rest of the boys. He's now the culmination of what the work has been for him in terms of, talking class, promo class, his in-ring work. He's got the look. He's a total package. It's just now shine the light on him and do heel type stuff so that you can get more heat on him. I like him all the way around. When he comes on, I like to watch it. And I like what he did on Raw, except for the opening segment. I don't think he needed to be fodder for Seth Rollins taking chair shots.
I don't think so either. Physically, he is one of the most imposing guys on the Raw roster. The guy is so cut up and so jacked. They were showing still shots of what he did to Dean Ambrose last week, and there's this point where he's got his arms raised, and he's got these 8 veins that run over his tricep up to his bicep, and I'm just like, holy shit, man. That is the guy that I want to look like, right? Like, when I go to the gym and I try to lift everything heavy, there's a reason that you call me the jock. It's because I am physically active, right? And I do like to work out. That's the guy I want to look like. That is the one dude I want to look like. I want to be cut like that dude. I want to give him Band-Aids because he is so cut. It's ridiculous. Physically, he's super imposing. Like you said, great mic skills. His Claymore kick, I feel it through the TV. Legitimately, I feel it through the TV. So when he hits a guy, I'm like, holy cow, that had to hurt. I'm always nervous for the guy receiving it. And a lot of times when you see a wrestling move, you're like, okay, cool, wrestling move, wrestling move, wrestling move. There are very few occasions where you're watching a wrestling program and you see a guy execute a move and you sit up in your chair and you're like, okay, is the guy going to get up?
Remember, this was a guy that was a member of 3MB.
Yeah, I know.
This is where he's at now.
I know. Well, that's what going to TNA did and doing stuff on the indies and really getting yourself over. Not just physically in shape, but actually getting yourself over. He's awesome. He was miscast in 3MB. It was absolutely horrible. He is the best heel on Monday Night Raw right now. He's the heel that we deserve. He is the guy that we need. You need to have a awful heel. You need, he's just the Dick Dastardly of heels. Instead, what you're presented with Brock Lesnar is a very lazy heel, which drives me absolutely insane. Brock Lesnar doesn't do enough to get his own character over. He leans on Paul Heyman so much to do so much for him.
Such a great
frustrating.
Gig. Show up, dance around, and jump around for 12 minutes, look funny, and then leave.
Yeah,
and then hang around or interrupt other matches. Not doing too much.
Not doing anything. I thought the insertion of Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw was frustrating. I thought it was distasteful. I thought it was disrespectful. Just have Brock Lesnar go sit on a shelf somewhere, and then when WrestleMania comes, just break the glass, pull his ass out, and let Seth Rollins win this freaking belt so we can have an actual championship belt on Monday Night Raw again. I don't need to see Brock Lesnar come out to his entrance, dance around at the top of the ramp, bopping around from the right foot to the left foot, doing a little shoulder shimmy shake while Paul Heyman is like, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm so over Brock Lesnar. It's so frustrating to know that this guy made $6.5 million last year to do what? To do what? He showed up for 8 events. So frustrating.
I messaged you and I said, look, what his character needs now is one epic promo like Ronda Rousey, where he comes out and says, I've been listening to all this talk. All you guys are wondering about my schedule. There ain't a single guy in the back that's worthy of a draw, and Vince knows it, and that's why I'm here. Peace. Drop the mic and leave. Address some of these things. Have a heel promo. Tell everybody, yeah, I'm here. I get paid handsomely. I show up when I need to. And if you don't like it, come take my spot. None of you back there, you've been working for 2 years, and I don't want to watch any of you. I don't watch any of you on the monitor. I don't watch any of you at home. I wouldn't watch the network because of you. I would crap on all the guys in the back and bring it up. I'm here. I'm paid better than all of you because when my ass walks through the door, your guys' asses stop and watch. You want my belt? Come and get it. That's it.
That'd be great.
That's literally
That'd be great.
That's literally a minute. And I thought at the top of my head, I was thinking, dude, open your mouth and talk shit.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do because what would draw more heat on you? Everybody's talking about that you got a part-time schedule. Play it up. I would love to hear it. Look, guys, if I paid you $6 million not to show up to work, would you take it? That's right. And I'm going to get more because I'm the best. I'm the best guy here. I'm going to have this belt for the next 2 years because there's not a single guy on this brand. There's not a guy on the red brand, blue brand, NXT brand, worldwide brand that is on my level. And if you don't believe it, challenge me to a match. Step out here and I'll show you what's going to happen. Your ass is going to get F5'd and I'm going to walk back and cash a huge check. So come strong or don't come at all. I'm Brock Lesnar. I'm the standard here. And if you don't like it, kiss my ass and walk out. I mean, literally, it's a minute. You can't deliver a little bit of a minute of passion. And I think, and actually having Paul Heyman advocate for him has hindered his character. It's played out. It's time for Paul Heyman to move on to somebody else. And it's frustrating because you got a guy that can generate heat. He is the baddest man on the planet. People cheer him, people boo him, but it's lazy. And that's the biggest part is that you want a guy to actually do the part. We're going to see the same match. He's going to F5 Seth Rollins a lot. He's going to take a couple bumps, and whatever happens, happens. But it's not going to be impactful. It's just he's an appearance. He's an entrance, and he could do a lot more. And I think that whether he's denying it or they don't want to have him do a promo, all he's got to deliver is a 1-minute badass heel promo, and we keep it moving. But I'm not down for Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. I'm excited for AJ Styles. I'm excited for what's going on a lot more on the blue brand and what's going to happen on SmackDown side of WrestleMania as opposed to anything going on Raw. It's just the way it is.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of the blue brand, I think two people who are setting themselves up for a monster push, and they're going to find themselves on the WrestleMania card.
Yeah, I see you wrote this, but I'm kind of concerned because I watched that match thoroughly because I'm interested in the Iconics. They can talk.
Yeah.
They get in the ring and they have a botch.
They're not very good.
They're not good in the ring, and this is a problem.
But here's the deal, right? If you put them in a match, we'll make it a fatal 4-way because after what I've seen on Monday Night Raw and what I've seen on SmackDown, I think for the women's tag team belts, we're going to have a fatal 4-way. It'll be Sasha Bailey. It'll be the Iconics.
Yeah.
You're going to have Natalya and Beth Phoenix, and then you're going to have Tamina and Nia Jax.
Piss break.
You're probably right. You're probably right. It will be a piss break. But they have done such a good job with stuff backstage. And that's really where they have cultivated their characters, is doing things backstage. And that has got them thrust into the limelight. And that's what got them this match against Sasha and Bailey. They called them out a couple weeks ago. Of course, everything in wrestling is scripted, but, I'm going to break kayfabe. I'm going to be Ronda Rousey for a quick minute.
It's written months in advance.
But this is, or hours before the show takes place, because Vince is nuts. But this is, if you look at what they have been doing behind the scenes, just different interactions on different shows, different little vignettes, different little things with the network, they're really getting a push. And maybe on television it seems like it's slow, seems like it's a little bit gradual here, but look at all the other things that they have going on. They're going to get a monster push here, and you're right. Their in-ring work is not very good. And I don't know how you take the belts off of Sasha and Bailey to put it on these two, but the fact that they have gotten themselves to this point, I think is commendable, and I think it's nice to see. And we need more women's tag team wrestling, right? You have some teams. You don't have a ton of teams. Down in NXT, you have teams, but up on the main cards, it's a lot of individual stuff, and a lot of the women get overshadowed by Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch. Those are the top 3 that you think of when you think of the women on both Raw and SmackDown. After that, what do you have? Who's the next person to pop in your head? Natalya, maybe? Yeah. They did a real bad job with Bailey. Bailey's character was so hot when she came up from NXT, and they just had no idea how to use her. And now she is Sasha Banks' side piece. It's like, okay, cool. Here, I'm gonna go out there, and you just come along with me. And that's kind of what you got. Nia Jax isn't a draw. She's a botch waiting to happen. Tamina's awful. Natalya is the next best thing you got in ring. I don't know what to tell you. So I think it's commendable that these two are going to get a push, and don't be surprised if you see them on the WrestleMania card going up against the teams I just named in a Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag team matches. All right, so SmackDown was built around one thing and one thing alone.
We all wanted to see it.
We all wanted to see it. We all waited to see this, and that was the Gauntlet match with Kofi Kingston. What did you think of this?
I thought it was great. The build-up obviously wasn't that great. It was a lot of promos. Let's not overshadow the performance that The Miz gave. I was definitely going into that feud. Miz, Shane McMahon, disappointed. I was like, it's not good enough. But you know what? It puts an opportunity for The Miz to jump off of this to get into the world title picture. He has to be kind of revisiting that storyline with Daniel Bryan. Maybe he doesn't win it, but maybe he can be the next guy to get the big push, because that promo was world-class. One of probably his best 5 promos he's ever delivered. Passionate, really engaged, set the scene for why he's going to kick Shane McMahon's ass, and we go forward. So I thought that was, a great portion of SmackDown. But a lot of SmackDown was talking. You had Kevin Owens come back, and you had a situation in which, you're elevating the feud with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Fine, but I don't like really too much male talk shows. After Chris Jericho left, you don't need to do them anymore.
No.
Miz TV probably can be the only one that you need, and then Alexa Bliss's show, fine. That's it. Anybody else, I don't need them. I don't need them to have television shows. So now we set the scene. The Gauntlet match starts, and he faces the Bar. No problem. I thought, wow, early on, they did set the scene and play it up that, wow, he's expending a lot of energy versus the Bar. And he did. Oh, my God, Sheamus put the hurt into him. Fine, you beat him, no problem. You go on and you defeat Sheamus and Cesaro. Great. Rowan was a squash, which is good. You give him a little bit of a break. And
real quick, with Rowan, were you concerned for Kofi when Rowan rips the lid off the table, right? But he doesn't clear any of the monitors. I always get nervous for guys.
It's going to get hurt, right?
Yeah, when the monitors don't get cleared out of the way, because let me pick you up and let me slam you through a table. One, that hurts. Two, let me leave the monitors there so you can crush those.
That's like common courtesy, right, bro?
Right. But you have to clear the monitor. You know who does a real shit job of doing that? Randy Orton. Randy Orton does an awful job of clearing the monitors out when he's going to drop somebody through a table. This is back when they had those, remember the big, like, square boxy monitor? Now they're like these little fold-up flip screens. They're kind of flat. Doesn't look like it hurts as much, but he would leave those big-ass heavy monitors, those big old screens. It looked like it was an old television camera. He would leave those things situated in their little, they had like little cutouts where they would sit inside the table. He would leave them in there, and they would stick out a good 5 or 6 inches out of the table. So when you get dropped through them, they're like stabbing you in the back. Randy Orton was the worst at that. He's a complete shithead for it.
So, being that everybody knew what was going to happen, it played out great. I didn't like, personally, that, Samoa Joe had to put him over and Randy Orton, because I feel like they're better than Kofi. And but to play up the storyline, Kofi had to defeat him. They were great matches, all the way around, entertaining. It kept you engaged. The commercials were put at the right time to kind of give you a break. But I put on our Twitter page, @Detroit Podcast, damn, to get an opportunity, Kofi Kingston's got to wrestle an hour? God damn, man. Give him a break.
But here's the thing. I didn't have an issue with Samoa Joe losing, nor Randy Orton. And it was the way that they lost. I didn't have an issue with it. I totally get what you're saying. But Samoa Joe and both Randy Orton both lost. I think there were surprise roll-ups, if I remember going back correctly. I know Randy Orton's was definitely a surprise roll-up. And afterwards, Randy Orton looked stunned and amazed, right? Which I thought was the perfect sell job, especially when New Day comes down to the ring to celebrate with him. Samoa Joe, after his loss, he went right back to putting the coquina clutch on him through the ropes. And he basically exacted his revenge. And that's what you want from a heel. That's what you want from the bad guy. I just lost. I'm pissed. I'm going to take it out on you now. But you're going to get it.
We all think we're all excited. Bam, Vince comes out. And we're like, uh-oh.
Hold on one second. Were you excited? Because I was looking at the clock, and I find myself doing this with SmackDown all the time.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
uh-oh.
I'm like, there's 7 minutes left. This isn't over.
I thought maybe that the entire locker room would go out there, they talk about it, and have a celebration. But when it was Vince, I was like, oh, they're screwing him.
Yep.
Well, because it's obvious, it's played out. They're doing the A-plus prime way of getting someone to be viewed as the underdog and get, similar to how they got Daniel Bryan. They're taking a stab by using the Daniel Bryan formula on Kofi Kingston. Yep. I think it can work, but is Kofi Kingston a big enough star? Me and Adam had this discussion. Me and you will have this discussion. I don't really see it with Kofi Kingston using this investment in him. He's obviously a great talent, but is he an AJ Styles talent? Is he a talent that can be, he's over, but can he sustain a company? Could you put the world title on him? No, I don't see it. You talked to me about it last week, like, yeah, you want to see it. I just don't see it happening. I think that this is a guy that now can be elevated to main event status, but like at the lower tier, like now a guy that can feud with Samoa Joe, a guy that can feud with The Miz.
Oh,
now,
is Samoa Joe in the main event? Is he upper tier status right now?
Well, I think he's being viewed that way, but
Is
we're
he?
not. I think so.
Is he?
He's got a belt, U.S. title holder.
Because I think we both believe he's an extremely talented wrestler, but WWE hasn't used him properly.
He's got a belt.
He doesn't get the. What the hell does that mean? I've got a belt on too. Does that make me a champion?
Yeah.
Champion holding my pants up.
But I don't see it. I just see him being elevated, now a guy that can be put in. I don't see him being main event status.
Okay. When you're booking wrestling, where is most of the money always put? It's always put in the chase. The chase is where the money's at. And I understand what you're saying about Kofi. Kofi's never been given the opportunity to prove that he is a main event player. He is a guy worthy of having the WWE Championship, which I believe is the legit championship, unlike the Universal title, which is a freaking clown show. So I understand what you're saying. He's never been given the opportunity to fail. And I understand that you don't want to give the guy the opportunity to fail because you don't believe in him. I understand. I get it. Believe me, I'm there with you. But I think he could do a good enough job. I really do. And I think there's more money in the chase. With Daniel Bryan somehow losing this match, whether it be on by a fluke or somehow luck, or Kofi just outright outwits him. Or maybe, how about this for a storyline, as I'm just kind of spitballing stuff in my head. The New Day come down to ringside, right? Because you know Rowan's going to be there. They got to even it up. They have to even it up. So they're going to be there as well. What if the New Day turns heel? We all thought the New Day was going to turn heel last week.
Creativity, bro. Yes.
And we all got excited about it for a quick minute.
Yes.
What if they turn heel?
Yes.
And they out-heel the heels?
Yes, do it, baby.
And then you've got Daniel Bryan now chasing for his title again. But instead of having one heater, Kofi's got two heaters.
Nice.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think it could work. I think you got to get creative. You just got to think outside the box a little bit.
But we all can agree the stock watch for Kofi way up.
Way up, way up. And Daniel Bryan ends up beating him in 5
deserves
minutes.
It, right.
And so that way
he'll be in the match. Just how.
He doesn't get his match.
I'm curious
at
now
this point.
how he gets into the match.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
There has to be something.
Yep.
I'm not sure how it works out.
Now, do you do it the same way that Daniel Bryan? Do you just follow the exact same formula? If history repeats itself, Kofi gets into that match, we're all in a tizzy, loses in 5 seconds. Rowan comes in, and at WrestleMania, remember, Daniel Bryan got into a match with Sheamus. At WrestleMania, on the biggest stage, takes a bro kick, done. The next night was when the Yes Movement kind of kicked off, when he shows up on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and the crowd just went apeshit for him. Does that happen? Do you just follow the same formula?
No, I don't think so.
Because WrestleMania is going to be long, and Daniel Bryan, bam, you just show up, he just does something, and a crazy move, Hurricane Rana, knee kick, something, Rowan comes in, Kofi's getting all the cheers, Rowan, big clothesline, Daniel throws him in, 4-second match, walks out.
Here's the thing. How many Gauntlet matches has he already gone through? This was his
2.
second in like 3 weeks, right?
I was paid off, it works.
I get it, but you can't have this guy now turn around and lose in 5 minutes.
5 seconds.
No.
That was the formula. Isn't that, would you think, isn't that the catalyst that got the Yes Movement off the ground?
But I don't think that's what you do here. I don't think that works here.
I mean, it'd be total copying.
It would be.
That'd be great. Huh?
Would that get you more invested in Kofi Kingston?
That'd be cool.
That would get you more invested?
I would be like, wow. I mean, maybe not.
Guys, if that gets you more invested, let us know.
Let me know.
At Detroit Podcast.
Let me know.
Because that does not get me more invested.
Got it.
If anything, I start looking at him like, okay, this is cool.
Unoriginal.
Well, this is what the company thinks of you.
Yeah.
You know? They don't think you're worthy of it. They're going to beat you in 5 seconds on the grandest stage of them all? Come on.
What was your favorite segment, match of the week?
Had to been that Gauntlet match.
Gauntlet match was awesome.
Gauntlet match was awesome. And I feel bad because normally we try to limit to like 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes to go watch this. It's an hour.
It's an hour. Take your time.
It's an hour.
Now, if you also have time and you're kind of slacking watching the NCAA tournament and things like that, go on YouTube and Google Enzo Shoots.
Dude.
I saw a lot of it. Now,
Yes.
I think there's a whole 3-hour documentary all in one piece that you can buy. I watched on a Saturday night last week maybe 10 of them, where he shoots on Stephanie McMahon, the injury. The best one was his feud with Simon Gotch, because then I went and watched the Simon Gotch rebuttal, where the best was, I don't know if you saw when he shoots on Simon Gotch, where he goes, I think Simon hates me because I made fun of his bitch titties in a promo. It was so funny. It's really funny, and you can see why they didn't like each other. And so
there was like legit heat there.
Yeah, he talked about his bitch titties, in a promo class, and so he's just got the gift of gab, dude, and he always had it. And I think part of the reason why the boys didn't like him is he's a Hulk Hogan type, in that he went out there saying, he said it openly, dude, they gave me the mic for 10 minutes a night, and I could do that. As opposed to, everybody can do headlock, boom, boom. He talked about the moves. Anybody can do all that. He goes, I had the gift of gab. They gave me the mic, and this is why. And then I think the boys, hardcore, don't like that.
Yeah.
They don't like guys like that.
He wasn't very good in the ring. He was okay. He was watchable.
He was
right?
a talker. You wanted to see him talk. That's it.
That was it. You wanted to hear
and the boys
what
hate
was,
that.
Yes.
That's the one thing the boys really hate. And I think that's why he had heat in the back, and I think he needed to actually meet the expectation and have good matches. He just couldn't.
Yeah. And I think he also believed some of his own hype.
And I think some of the boys put that out there a lot, that he can't wrestle.
Yeah.
Hit me with this week's professional wrestling news and notes. What you got?
Real quick, SmackDown definitely better, right?
Oh, by far.
By far. Okay. Speaking of Raw, kind of taking this back full circle, Raw ratings continue to slide. This time they pulled in 2.7 million views for their lowest rating in the past 5 weeks.
They're not giving us what they delivered. Nope. Batista promo, come on, man.
Not good. AJ Styles signed a new deal with WWE. Yes. He also has a new dog.
That's good.
And you can check
Best
that
way
out
to do
on
it. Oh, I got a new dog. I signed a new contract.
Yes. It's believed that much less dates for him. That was the big sticking point.
It has to be when you're 41.
Yes. The big sticking point was he wanted to do a lot less dates. Wasn't even so much the money. It was just more the time on the road.
Simple. I want to be on your television program on SmackDown. Have a beautiful woman interview me. I walk off. I'm on the air. I'm great. I feel good. I get a couple days off. I extend my career to 46.
Yep.
Duh. That's what you got to do. Work your ass off, grind, and then get over, make your money, and in your 40s, part-time schedule, but get your ass on TV.
What do you think about this for AJ Styles? And I don't know the actual number that he was given, and I don't know how the dates are going to work out. But what if he was on television 80% of the time?
Yeah.
And then he was at house shows maybe 33% of the time.
That's great. I would take him. I'd take it every week on SmackDown, 3 matches on SmackDown a week, 3 matches a month on SmackDown, 1 backstage interview, and if you show up once on a Friday or Saturday, that's good. You get Sunday, Monday off, boom, and then you go on, yeah, of course. And then I think in the articles I read, he has to move to the red brand. Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar,
Vince has wanted that for
Finn
a while
Balor.
now.
Yeah, you have to. You have to put him on the red brand. You have a great 3-year run.
The thing that's going to complicate it is NBC, or not NBC, Fox wants a star-laden lineup.
Yeah, AJ Styles is the guy.
Right.
But the feuds aren't there anymore.
No.
He's gone through them.
I mean, he's going to beat freaking Randy Orton, and then what do you got?
Send Finn Balor over, then to SmackDown. The potential feuds for AJ Styles should be the guys that come over to SmackDown.
I can see that.
Anybody that comes over to SmackDown has to be in line.
I'd love to see Finn Balor, AJ Styles.
Oh, that'd be great.
WrestleMania. If you could somehow tie
WrestleMania.
some Bullet Club stuff into it.
Yeah, next year's WrestleMania.
Mean, I don't know. It'd be great. It'd be absolutely amazing.
I think the best way you could do it is if the next guy to take the belt off of Daniel Bryan's Finn Balor.
That'd be cool.
Then AJ Styles feuds with him up until next year's WrestleMania. AJ Styles, Finn Balor, next year's WrestleMania.
You put the belt on Finn for a year?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that'd be great.
Exactly.
Be great.
Great.
All right. So Bray Wyatt. You remember him, right? We haven't seen him in forever. So he has teased a return on Twitter, again, for like the 800th time. But it's expected he's going to show up right after WrestleMania. He'll probably show up on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. However, this is what's weird. WWE are keeping his new creative plans super top secret. Like, only a few people know what's going on with him. All the guys on the dirt sheets, all the people who have the inside information, nobody has any idea how they're going to repackage Bray Wyatt. So this could be totally awesome, or it could be a total flop. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. Also, the Revival. They want to do...
I can't believe you typed this. I cannot believe you typed this. I saw this. I was like...
It's news!
I was going to email you back on a rundown. I could not believe you wrote this.
I think it's a great way to end the podcast.
No, I was shocked. I never heard of it.
So the Revival want to do a 4 Horsemen reboot. And if you remember the 4 Horsemen, 4 Horsemen I grew up with was Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, Chris Benoit, and Dean Malenko. There's been many incarnations of the Four Horsemen. That is the one I remember most fondly because I was a hardcore WCW guy.
I can't believe you just said that.
What?
The best Four Horsemen
No,
had
I didn't say
Barry
it was.
Windham. No, I
didn't say it was
that's
the best.
the one.
That's the one I remember
the
most
one I
vividly.
had Barry Windham.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the best
a really good one.
Yeah, it was really good.
There's been many incarnations of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah,
I mean, they all had Ric Flair in them, but I'm just saying the one I remember most
with
closely.
Malenko, yeah.
Yes. And Woman was there.
Yeah.
It was great.
Benoit,
look, I was a hardcore WCW fan back in the day.
No, Barry Windham and Tully Blanchard were the best. The tag team with Anderson and Blanchard.
Yes.
Woo, classic. Go back and watch them.
That was a great incarnation of the Four Horsemen. Absolutely awesome. But I'm just telling you the one that I remember most vividly.
You bust out Chris Benoit.
What, man? That's
Chris
what I
Benoit
remember.
It's like this. It's literally like this.
Well, it is.
Axe it. Just cancel this.
So,
no.
So, the Revival want to do a Four Horsemen reboot. But
Thanks. No.
They want Baron Corbin in it.
Yeah.
And if you watched Raw, there was a little segment between the Revival and Baron Corbin this week.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the premise of doing a Four Horsemen reboot and Corbin being in it?
That would be the worst. I mean, it's like you have the Four Horsemen, that would kill it. That would, beyond jump the shark. I mean, the Horsemen are a stable of like the name. You can't have the Revival and Baron Corbin in the Four Horsemen. Retire it. It's done. Nobody needs to be a Horseman. Start a group, but just don't call it the Horsemen.
Look, I loved the Four Horsemen when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved them. I thought they were great, right?
No,
and
it won't happen.
Even the most vivid incarnation I had with Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit that you laugh at.
Period. Four Horsemen show up on Raw with the Revival and Baron Corbin will be the time where we boom. We just talk about Raw for like 2 minutes. We'll be like, I watched it. Okay, it was good, and we just move on to AEW. Period. We'll take a month off. Period. That will cancel the discussion of Monday Night Raw on this podcast.
So funny.
That will cancel it. I'll be like, okay, Raw was good. A couple segments. Boom. Let's go to SmackDown.
All right, AEW. Let's go.
Let's go to AEW.
Kenny Omega's pretty awesome. Let's discuss.
They're selling a shit ton of shirts, and their YouTube show is pretty good. All right, great podcast, sir. I want to thank those that support the podcast. Definitely go follow Dennis Farrell at Dennis77Farrell and visit the WrestlingPerspectivePodcast.com. Great stuff by Dennis Farrell. Give him a follow. Thank you, everybody, for following the network. You can follow Adam on Twitter at AdamRSTROZ. Follow us at Detroit Podcast, and definitely on the road to WrestleMania. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to our boy Adam. Love the videos. Keep them coming.
Yeah, we're one of the most interactive Twitter follows you'll find. So if you have a question about wrestling, or you know what, you're watching and you're like, I absolutely hate this. What do you guys think? Chances are we hate it too. Just message us. We'll let you know the hate and the vitriol. It's a good time.
During Raw, SmackDown, any pay-per-views, hit us up. Thank you. See everybody next week. You have just downloaded the latest edition of the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast.